guys, welcome back to my channel. So this is gonna be like an all over the place video. This isn't going to be a very specific TBR video, which means Napoleon will not be in it. Apologies, I will bring him back for another video or my TBR for next month. That is mainly because October is bananas for me. I have so many readathons and reading plans that I set for myself already prior to hosting readathons. So basically I wanted to go through all of the readathons that I'm doing, what I'm planning on reading for them, and just like other reading plans, because why not add more to that? So without further ado, here is my TBR cart. It's full. You can't see it, but it's full all the way down. So the first thing that I want to talk about is that I am going to be doing kind of like a buddy read or read along type of situation with some of my best friends over on Instagram and Twitter. Basically, we wanted to kind of get into the spooky mood, and we picked 4 thrillers that we're going to be reading throughout the month of October, which are these 4 right here. We're going to be starting each of these on the Friday of each week, if that makes sense. So I will go through dates on those. Anybody is welcome to join us. We are just using the hashtag FridayFrightAthon. If you use this hashtag, regardless of where you are, it will bring you back to the conversation about the book that we are currently discussing. We are currently working on making page breakdowns for each of these books. If you guys have never done a buddy read, or at least a buddy read with me, or with like my friends with how we do it, you basically have a start date and you have a set amount of pages that you read each day, and then you all get together when you finish it and discuss what happened in that part, and you do that until you finish the book. And it's a good time. It keeps everybody on the same pace. Usually a lot of us cheat and we either read ahead or we fall really far behind, but ultimately we all get caught up at the end and we all will have read the book together. So starting on October 5th, the first one that we are going to be reading is I'll Be Gone in the Dark by McNamara. This is a book that got very popular recently because this is a nonfiction story about the Golden State Killer, which happened decades ago, and he has recently been found and caught. So the story has kind of like resurfaced recently, and everybody's very interested in it again because it's relevant again, but this is just kind of a really cool nonfiction story. There's a bunch of pictures that of like the real people involved in it. So we will be starting this on October 5th, and remember to use the hashtag if you would like to read along with us. It's super fun. The next book that we are going to be starting will be the following Friday, which is October 12th, and we are going to be starting Ruth Ware's new book, which is The Death of Mrs Westaway. If you guys have read The Woman in Cabin 10 or In a Dark, Dark Wood, this is the same author. I've heard even better things about this than I have about the other one. But again, we are starting this on October 12th. I will get you guys page breakdowns as soon as we start these. And then the third one that we are going to be getting to, again on the following Friday, which will be October 19th at that point, is called If We Were Villains by M.L. Rio. This is currently available on Book Outlet. I'm pretty sure they have like 100+ copies of both hardback and paperback, so you can get this for really cheap if you would like to join us and read along. If you order it now, you'll probably get it by the time we start this, because this isn't starting until like closer to the second half of October. And the last one that we're going to be getting to starts on October 26th, and this is The Last Time I Lied by Riley Sager, who came out with Final Girls last year. So this is another very like relevant thriller. I believe this was actually in Book of the Month, so I've heard really good things about this. So we're gonna go out with a bang on possibly the creepiest one. I'm feeling this is gonna be the one that gets under my skin. Myself and 3 other book people. I believe that I'm the only booktuber who is doing this. The other 3 of them run blogs and have very active Instagram and Twitters and Goodreads and everything. So the other hosts that are doing this with me are Amy at A Court of Crowns and Quills, who has like the most stunning feed you've ever seen on Bookstagram. Jen, who is at Pinot and Pages 24/7, and she is just such a freaking sweetheart. And again, her feed is also gorgeous. And then Mel, which you guys might know, Mel to the Any. She's like one of the biggest, if not the biggest, reviewer on Goodreads. They're all sweethearts. I have such a fun time talking with them. It's gonna be super fun, so if you guys are interested in reading any of those with us, I will leave the dates listed down in the description. Head on over to Instagram, join the chat. We will give you guys page breakdowns for all of these books as we approach them. It's gonna be super fun. Those are just going to be kind of relaxed buddy reads that I'm doing with other people. Those are the only buddy reads that I really have scheduled, but I am also going to binge all the way through the Throne of Glass series, because Kingdom of Ash comes out at the end of October. It comes out, I think, on the 23rd. So you guys might be like gasping because I left myself only like 20 days to get through all 7 books of the Throne of Glass series, but one, have you read Throne of Glass? You fly through them. Like, I read through Queen of Shadows in like 1 day, even though it was obscenely long. You just can't put them down. But I have the audiobooks for I think almost the entire series at this point, and I listen to audiobooks like crazy fast. So I have a feeling I'll actually be able to get through that like really fast, especially now that I'm working at a place where I can listen to audiobooks the whole time I'm there. Any of you guys are doing the same thing, feel free to message me across like any of the platforms, because I've already read through the series, so you don't have to worry about spoilers. But if you want to just get like really hype with me for Kingdom of Ash, I'm gonna be reading that along with all of my fall October spooky reads. I know, I'm being very ambitious this month, but I generally read between 20 and 25 books a month, so it's not that crazy for like my current lifestyle. So I also will have my Spooktober readathon TBR that I'm going to film kind of separate from that, because I'm still kind of working on it myself. So if you guys also are stuck on books, don't feel bad, because I am as well. But the readathon isn't until the last full week that is in October. I believe it's the 21st through the 27th. So I got some time before I really need to like lock in a TBR for that. I have a couple books picked out, but if you guys would like to join my clan, and again, if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, I will leave the announcement video linked down below. I'm planning on also kind of making an entire separate video about that readathon included with my TBR to explain it more thoroughly with how the process is gonna go, because I kind of threw a lot of information at you guys in that video. So I'm going to make like a whole separate video for that. I have a couple books in mind, but like I said, I'll lock those in later on in the month and make a whole separate video for that. But my clan for that is vampire bats, and one of the challenges, or actually kind of two of the challenges, are to read a book featuring that creature. And for this, you can read a book featuring bats or vampires. Obviously, there aren't that many books about bats out there unless you really want to read like Stella Luna, which, no shade, because that was my favorite picture book of my childhood. Yes, there's technically Batman. Batman's out from Marie Lu if you guys want to pick that up. That's also kind of bat related. But I kind of split it because there's like ample amounts of vampire books. So I'm actually going to make a video coming out very soon for you guys to help you out with that challenge for vampire book recommendations, because there are so many, and it's not all just Twilight. Like, there's a lot of really solid, really dark vampire stories that are really unique out there, so I will make a whole video about that. That was a tangent I didn't need to get into in this video, but I did it. So that TBR is going to be separate. Let me get into books that I plan on reading just kind of completely separate from all of the things that I've already previously mentioned, because I'm very pretentious when it comes to my TBR videos, okay? Some of these might be worked into my readathon TBR, to be completely honest, because I'm not sure if they will fit yet or not. But books that I definitely want to get to, I want to get to Scream All Night by Derek Millman. First of all, because there are bats on the cover of this book, so this applies to one of my challenges. But this is a very recent release that just came out that takes place in a setting of like B-rated cult horror movies. It just sounds so perfect to read for October, especially because it just came out, so it's very relevant right now and other people are reading it. I've heard really good things about this. It just kind of pokes fun at the culture of like horror movie fandoms, so I'm very excited to read this. And also it applies, like there's a bat on the spine right there, there's bats on the front, so this is a book that can be applied to that challenge if you guys are participating in the readathon and in my clan. Okay, I just pulled a whole bunch of books off the shelf and I'm gonna go through them really fast because these are books that I'm just interested in reading currently, and they are all somewhat spooky Halloweenish type reads, so I figured I would let you guys know what the plans are. If you guys would prefer for me to read some over others, let me know down in the comments, because I'm not set on any of these in particular and I probably won't get to all of them, but these are kind of the choices that I have pulled from my shelf for the month of October. So I have Sadie by Courtney Summers, mainly because this came in the unplugged book box and I'm still super intrigued. If you guys didn't see the unboxing, this came with a very ominous envelope tucked in the back of the book that says, "Read after you finish Sadie." So I basically just can't let this sit on my shelf any longer and I just need to read it. But this is also kind of like a thriller type story that I've heard is very dark, so kind of fitting for October. I also want to get to The Midnight Dance by Nikki Katz. This, I haven't heard great things about it, but first of all, this cover is just like stunning, but this is also a book that I haven't heard many reviews to begin with, and it follows like a very dark dance academy, which is something that I'm always interested in. Like, it follows girls who are like prima ballerinas and they are overseen in this mysterious wood manor by this young master. Sounds very dark and weird and twisted. So it's short. I kind of want to give it a go this time around. I got it last fall to read for Halloween and didn't get to it, so I'm gonna try again this year. I have Not Even Bones by Rebecca Schaefer, which I got in my Second Star Lit box. And this, I think I'm going to use for one of my readathon challenges the books with bite, because this is definitely a book that hooked me by its tagline, by its synopsis. The very first sentence of the synopsis is what hooked me. It just says, Nita doesn't murder supernatural beings and sell their body parts on the internet. Her mother does that. I mean, if you're not intrigued by that, and this is like a perfect Halloween read, it's gonna be very like bloody and murdery and Halloweenish, so I definitely want to get to this one this year, so gonna try and force it in October. I have Strange Grace on here by Tessa Gratton, mainly because a bunch of my friends said that this is the best book of 2018, and it's supposedly a very good, like, eerie, Halloweenish type story. I honestly don't know anything about this, and I'm choosing to go in blind, so if you guys have read this, let me know what you think of it, because so far my friends' reviews have, like, they made me buy this book. Like, I wasn't planning on getting this year, but I did, so I feel like I need to read it, and it sounds very mysterious, and I'm intrigued, so I would like to get to it. I have The Rattled Bones by S.M. Parker. Technically, Napoleon picked this for me last month, or maybe this was Neville. One of my goats picked this for me last month, and I ended up not getting to it, mainly because this is going to be a tangent that I'm going to keep very short. If you guys use Scribd, which is an audiobook service that I like sang its praises for months and months and months, they had an issue happen last month where all of your saved titles, or at least for me, all of the titles that I had saved on like a wish list to listen to were no longer available till a couple days ago. So I did not get to listen to this. I generally get through most of my books because I listen to audiobooks while I'm at work every day. So I didn't actually get time to like sit down and physically read this. My plan was to listen to it and it didn't happen. So it still is going to be very fitting. It takes place in a very like eerie coastal fisherman town where something happens in the water. I think it's like a spirit or ghostiness. Either way, sounds creepy, sounds awesome for Halloween. So I definitely want to try and get to this month. Hopefully my audiobook will be available. I have two books that I also don't know much about, and when it comes to like monster stories or just kind of like creepy, spooky Halloween stories, I try to go in blind. I honestly cover by a lot of horror stories and just kind of choose to go in not knowing much about the plot, mainly because I tend to find that they spoil the big plot twist in the synopsis. Like, they tell you what the monster is on the back of the book, so I generally try to avoid synopsises. So I have these two books. I have The Beast is an Animal, and this is a book that I just recently hauled. It sounds appealing to me. It sounds like there's like these creatures in the woods that steal your soul, and we're following a main character who goes into these woods after them. So I just kind of like really eerie woods, foresty settings that are really dark. And then I have Beware the Wild by Natalie C. Parker. And this is just kind of like a gothic horror story that takes place kind of on like a swampy bayou type setting. Again, both of these things, I kind of only know the setting and the very basic plot synopsis, and that's kind of all I want to know going in. So if you guys would prefer for me to read either of these, let me know, because they're both appealing. Both of them are fairly short, so I should be able to get through them in like a day or two, especially if they're horror. I read horror really, really fast. So these are both options for the month of October. And the last book that I'm going to include, because I really want to get to it this month, because I tend to know myself. I get in really big ruts of one type of genre. Obviously, this is all thriller and horror stories, and I tend to burn myself out after a little bit, so I'm going to try and like mix up my TBR for my readathon at the end of the month. And obviously, because I'm on the Vampire Bats clan, I need to read a book with vampires or bats in it. For that, I'm going to start the Black Dagger Brotherhood books. I have the first book, which is Dark Lover. J.R. Ward kind of owns paranormal romance in the adult erotica section, and I just feel like I need to get to it. Like, I feel like this might be the time, because this is going to give me more of like new adult sexy time vibes versus horror vibes in case I'm burnt out by the end of the month. Also, I've just heard amazing things about it. This is like a binge-worthy series that I've wanted to get to for years. I have this one and the second one if I want to continue on, but I'm definitely planning on getting to this in October, and I will let you guys know what I think of it. So as of right now, this is kind of the plan. I'm definitely getting to these 4 thrillers that I was talking about with the buddy reads, and some of these I'm going to try and work into my Spooktober readathon. You know, some of them will definitely apply to some of the challenges. I just need to do more research on what the actual setting is for some of these to see if they apply to any of the challenges. But as of right now, this is the plan for October, plus all of Throne of Glass. I know, it's ambitious. I have faith in myself. I pretty much do it every month anyway. So that is going to be it. If you guys have any suggestions for me for the readathons that I'm doing, or just for books in general, leave them down in the comments because I'm always looking for book recommendations. That is going to be it for this video. I know this one was long. I just talked forever in this video. I will see you guys in my next video.